we do have a special guest with us today.
Yes, sir.
Talk about it.
Got those explosive hands.
Really explosive too.
20 fights, 14 knockouts,
Undefeated.
undefeated. And I've seen him drop some dudes
Ridiculous.
in the first round. Like, I'm talking about hit him on the chin. And he made him retire. The last fight, he was like, you know what? This ain't for me.
Yeah, I'm going.
Shout out to our guard Ross, man. We want to bring on a very, very special guest. Heavyweight, undefeated Cassius Chaney, everybody. Let's give him a round of applause. What's going on, big dog?
What's going on, Chan?
Not much. Thank you for having me.
Oh, nah, man. We really appreciate it. We know we got you on a tight schedule here, getting ready to, get on this flight. You out here, getting ready to knock some heads off. That's what you do for a living. But how you doing, man? How's everything going?
Everything good. We had a good training day today. It's been a good week. So looking forward to
absolutely. So you in camp? When's the next fight? People want to know.
Man, I've heard March. So that's just the mentality right now. So we put in a lot of work. So we're taking like a few days, just not to get burnt out or anything like that, and then we're coming right back to finish, February 1st, 2nd or 1st. So.
Absolutely. Have they named an opponent yet, or you just staying ready? So when they put that name on the card, you ready to knock them down?
I'll be ready. I'll be ready for whatever the challenge is. It's a little bit different now because everything is business more so now. Once you get those 20 fights and stuff like that, it's more about it making sense and all this stuff. So it's a little bit difficult now than it was maybe 4 fights ago, where you could just be like, it's easier. And COVID didn't make it any better.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted to talk about. I'm glad you touched on that. Now you already undefeated. Like, how important is it for you to protect that O?
For me, I don't really, it's a sport. For me, I want to be remembered one of those guys that, man, when he got in there, he put it all out there. You know what I'm saying? Those are the ones that you remember. I mean, you're going to remember Floyd, but you can't really pinpoint too many. Like, the average boxing fan can't pinpoint too many of Floyd's, like, dominant performances. Like the Diego Corrales and I mean, Diego Corrales, he killed Arturo Gotti. Like, there's not too many people that's going to be able to say, like, man, Floyd is, because he was so good and he protected the O. But now I think boxing is coming back to where, like, more people are interested in just fighting. But you got to pay the fighters for you to get those type of fights. You should pay the fighters, and then everybody will just fight. So it's going to be interesting to see.
All right. Well, I had a question
in my ears. Go ahead,
man.
He'll love when the best fight the best. But my question is, you debuted as a professional in 2015, which is only 5 years ago, and in 5 years, you've amassed 20 fights. Now, you started a little bit later than most professionals, so I wanna know what led you to becoming a pro boxer.
Man, I played basketball in college, and it's crazy because, like, I would see fights come on TV, and I would just start watching them. And I used to joke around. Maybe like my senior year, I started joking, like, man, I think I'd be a good boxer for real. Like, I was getting into a few scuffles on campus, and I was like, man, I can fight, man. So, and another thing is, like, growing up in Baltimore, I had a lot of fights, and I used to always fight older guys. So, and I never was like knocked out or nothing. I always fought, and there'd be times where my mom would bring me to the next neighborhood. There'd be a crowd, like blocks, kids just watching. So I always said, man, I know I can fight. I know if I got the time to do it, I'm gonna do it. And I was getting ready to go for basketball, but I started going into the boxing gym, and I was like, man, that's a wrap. It's a wrap. And that's all she wrote.
So let me ask you this: after you've gotten into some scuffles and being in the ring, although your case is a little bit different because you 6'6"?
Yeah, I'm
But
about 6'5", 6'6". Yeah.
so let me ask you this: if you could go back in the future, what would you have told Nate Robinson before he got in that ring?
Oh man, you know what's right? I would have told him for real not to do it because like I had got a call. One of my boys is real close to him, and he had told me like Nate Robinson in the boxing ball. I was saying to him, "Yo, you should come down here because you're gonna get to know if you want to do it or not."
Right.
Like that's the thing. Like everybody gonna want to do it, but you want to know coming down here and training here or training in Baltimore that, oh man, I don't want to get hit. I don't like that feeling.
Right.
He got that. He had the street fight mentality. The way he taught him, he was like, "I'm gonna slam you. You can't slam a nigga with gloves
Can't
on.
scoop.
So yeah, you can't scoop somebody waiting for you to run at him. You know." And so I just think it was like he just wasn't in no boxing environment. He stayed in Washington. You know what I mean? It ain't too much boxing out there. So you know that's where they bring us for nationals. So we not around people. It's not out there. You know, so that's part of the game, though.
So I've been looking at a lot of your past fights, and what I notice is out of your 14 knockouts, a lot of those knockouts are brutal, right? And so this is what I've never had a chance to speak to a boxer. So you're the first boxer. I mean, I've spoken to boxers, but you're the first person that's had these brutal knockouts like this. So I want to know, like, is there a feeling of gratification when you knock someone silly like that, or is there a moment of remorse, like worried about this man's well-being? Like, how do you feel in that moment when you completely knock somebody out of the ring like that?
I mean, I guess the politically correct answer would be, yeah, you feel
Nah, we don't want that. We don't want that.
But nah, because like all the training and stuff, and then all you go through to fight, you know, it's like I just know I don't even speak for myself. I just know that I would be mad if I lost. Like I would be mad from a competitive standpoint. I would be upset, but I wouldn't be like, dang, I feel bad. You know what I'm saying? So I don't really feel bad that because they trying to knock me out.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
If they can knock off an undefeated guy, they gonna jump around the ring and they gonna make you want to fight him more. So I just know that, you know, yeah, I'm just more like I don't know if it's gratifying, but it's like, yeah, all this work, the sparring is the hard part. Like, and then you get in there and you got tens on, and then you catch a guy cold. Like, oh shoot, man! Like, I mean, but the dude that went out the ring, dude out the ring, that was different. He had been talking trash for like years, man.
Thank you.
That was like,
thank you.
That's where the anger came from. Like, that's why I celebrated out of like, because he had been talking trash for years, and then you know, look, it ain't my job to make sure he trained. That's how he always fought. You know, he had just fought 2 undefeated guys before that, and he got a decision in New Hampshire, so he really won because he lost a unanimous majority decision, or draw actually. So he came into my fight saying, "Look, man, I'm gonna beat him up. This is who I wanted to fight. This is who he wanted to fight me for 2 or 3 years." So when all that happened, man, and him saying that he had a body bag waiting for me and all that, so when he went out the ring, that's where all the came.
Body bagged him for real. Be careful what you ask for out here, man. You want to for 2 years, you got it.
With him talking so much trash, the way you knocked him out and it going viral, is that one of your most satisfying knockouts?
Man, that's one of them. I mean, Madison Square Garden was good. That was just
gotta be.
But I would say the ring one was because like it's not too many people that happens to, like that. Like he went all the way out.
Yeah,
and
that was
honestly. To be right, I was like, damn, this joint over. When he came back in, I was like, this dude crazy, man. But in my head in that moment, I was like, I'm gonna really have to like all I would think about was like kill him, like because he was getting back in there, and I felt like this should be over. And I just threw like a light punch, and he was just off balance anyway. So it worked out for him.
Yeah. So one of my favorites, because I've actually I saw you fight at Foxwoods, I believe. I believe it was Foxwoods out in Casino. Mohegan. Yeah. It was me and Ross actually. I saw you fight there, and then I also happened to watch you fight Nick Jones. That Nick Jones knockout, that was it was literally perfect. It was like
it was perfect.
It tapped his chin, and it was like it was over. Like, I want to ask you, because me and Hill have always had this debate. We've had one person on. What do you feel would be the most satisfying way to knock someone out? With a punch straight to the chin and they go instantly to sleep, or that liver shot where they still coherent, but you just know you just took everything out their body?
Oh man, that's tough, man, because they both hard punches to get through. Like to hit somebody right on the chin is hard to do, but I would say the on the chin, because that's hard to get up from. Because look, if you hit somebody to the liver, most of the times, guys, honestly, I think, sometimes guys get touched there, like their ribs or something. But sometimes it's such a hard shot, they not able to stay calm and get up. I think some of that is just mental, calmness. You can get up from that. But when you get hit on the chin, man, sometimes them dudes be out.
Punch drunk.
Yeah, they just be out.
Especially when you're dealing with heavyweights. Yeah, I mean, when you're dealing with heavyweights, it's kind of different. We had Jaleel Major Hackett on here, who's
that's my dog. That's my man.
We had him up here, and he was saying that well, he's trying to debut at 147. So he was saying the body punch is his go-to, because like you said, it's hard to get a clean punch on the chin, and people are normally so focused on protecting their chin that they leave their body open. So that's been his go-to in his amateur career. But it's good to hear that you said that. But heavyweight has so much more power that it's like, if I was a heavyweight, I probably would want to get the chin knocked out too. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah. Well, most of the time with heavyweights, because we so much bigger, it's hard to drop us to the body. Even Mike Tyson went to the body so hard, but he got guys when they folded. They never went down. He always folded them. And so I guess that's something I gotta keep working on, because I got good body shots. I just gotta start understanding, when you go down there, most of the times guys gonna feel it. So don't get away from it. You know what I mean? And just keep working on it.
You got something here?
Now, the fact that you started off at a later age, and you're still actually learning, so it's actually you're progressing as you're getting older. Is it time? Do you feel that it's going to be time that, because you're around our age,
right?
Around the golden age of the heavyweights. Now I'm the casual boxing fan. Now is it time? Is the heavyweight division ever going to come back for what it once was?
Man, I'm gonna be honest, man. That's part of what I was saying about now being at 20 fights. The business of it is boxing could get back to that right now. This is the perfect time for guys like me, guys like let me just name a few Americans like Stephen Shaw, Damani Rod, Michael Coffey, the little Big Baby Miller, and Jermaine Franklin. It's like the perfect time for us to start saying yo, build our profiles coming up. But when you with this promoter and then you with this promoter and then you with this one, it's everybody is just separated. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Nobody really the vision for boxing in America is bad. It's bad. It's it's really bad. So you see the PBC fighters, everybody know them. If you see the ESPN fighters, you only know a few, right? You know Teofimo and Tyson Fury's with them. It's only, but it's just because every promoter is just separated. So it's hard to just push their fighters, and build a profile. You know what I mean?
But why is that? Why is it separated when it seems to be so much of an influx of money in boxing? So if the purses are so huge, why can't two promoters come together and find a midway point?
They do.
Why?
They do only when you're right, but they do only when it's a massive thing. You know, like I don't know, man. I always be thinking that, man. Like what you just said, it happens for Floyd and Pacquiao,
Mm-hmm.
Mike Tyson, Lennox Lewis, Tyson Fury, and Deontay Wilder. Then it might happen, but when you got good prospects coming up coming up like myself and others, you should build that profiles like sort of like what PBC did with the Danny Garcia at the time
Yeah.
and Tank. They build their profiles up, and then they said, "Go ahead, everybody fight each other."
Yeah.
But you not even think about Danny Garcia loss because you like all the work he put in back then. He put in work. He was getting wins and he was fighting everybody. Sean
Yeah,
Porter,
it was. I used to be a fan of
everybody. So yeah, it's like that's boxing though. Over here it's different, man. UK, you can get 5-6 losses and still have 50,000 people coming to see you fight. Because they don't care. They just love the fact you fight it. You're a pro.
Do you think that's why UFC has gotten so big now? Because there's one like really governing body. I know there's Bellator and stuff like that, but as far as the top fighters, people want to see UFC fighters, and there's no other promotion company that really has to pit them against another fighter. So if the people are saying, I want to see Conor McGregor versus Dustin Poirier, regardless of how many losses either one of them have,
they normally get the fight.
That they get those fights. Do you think that's why UFC has taken over? As far as I would say mainstream. I think boxing still has the bigger purses per se for their bigger fights, but just as far as views, I think the popularity of UFC has overtaken it because they get the fights that they want when they want them. Do you think? Right. Do you agree with that?
I agree with that in a sense, right? So a loss. So Conor McGregor, when he started blowing up, he already had a loss, but it's not pushed to the forefront like he lost. They don't care. You know what I'm saying? It's like for man, it's crazy for us, for like the black fighters, especially just being real. It's you got to be flashy, you got to be this, you got to be that, and then you got to not lose, and then it's like all this stuff compact together, because it's not that many guys that's just clean cut and just out the way. You know what I mean? Like, and controversy sells.
Yeah.
And so that leads me to a good point, a good question that I have for you. With that, seeing kind of Floyd, AB, Tank, do you think that it's possible for a black fighter to be a star and not be looked at as the bad guy
in America?
Pretty much.
No. I think it is. I think it is. You just gotta be that way from the jump. Like you gotta be like Wilder. The American public didn't gravitate to him from the jump, like they may have should have.
Right.
Mainly because he was a different type of outspoken. Like he was different from Floyd, AB, and Gervonta. Those are smaller guys. So in a weird kind of way, America accepts smaller figures. Like when you big and when you're a big person and you come across like you brash, people are more like, yo, you're a little bit more like, I don't know, man. I don't know if I want to do business with this dude. So I think if you come in there from the jump a certain way, like it's real though. Like when you smaller and you talk trash, people think it's like, it's cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, we want to see. Like AB still going to sell out until he get knocked out, and he probably will never get knocked out because he's good enough to. He good. Like he is good. Yeah. But that's just how boxing is, man. It's different here. But that's why right now I think it's the perfect time for guys like myself and other guys to start really like speaking up on it and building our profiles up to make massive fights here. And then go after, whoever we gotta go after.
So who do you want to go after? Like who's that fight that you want?
That was gonna be my next question.
That's a good question, man.
That was gonna be my question.
A fight that I would really, really like, man. Okay, you know what? There's a fight that I really like because he beat me in the amateurs. My last loss was Jermaine Franklin from
Okay.
Detroit.
I like
That's a
Jermaine.
fight I really would like. But again, like we both 20-0, and it just gotta be right. You know, like
Mm-hmm.
I understand his team understand that it gotta be right, and I'm saying it gotta be right. You know, so I think that's a fight that I would really like. You know, and there's some other ones out there. Just top 10, Huey Fury, but he's in the UK. There's some guys out there that help me build my profile that are good step up fights. You know, I just want like a good step up fight where somebody that's durable, that's been in there, that gives me that experience. Joey DeWaco, you know what I mean? It's good fights out there that make sense for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so we'll see. They're good, you know, guys that are
Right.
good. We'll see.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
so with with COVID, I know usually you fight around 3 to 4 times a year. And I know COVID has kind of threw a wrench in some things. Do you think COVID has also messed up, the progression in your career, allowing you to kind of get those step up fights and really get to the top tier of your division?
Well, yeah, in a way, because like everybody had fights probably planned, you know, so like
Right.
Wilder Fury 3 probably would have happened if it wasn't for COVID already. And then whoever won that was already talking about fighting Joshua, you know, but now they're going to be legal battles. So it's so much like it's like a clog jam at the top tier right now. And then for us, for like myself and then guys that are undefeated, that's what I'm saying. Like it's the perfect time for us if we're in the right situation. Like if we are being pushed to the forefront to build the profile, you know, because I got a lot of support. I got a lot of like real support. So, and I'm sure other guys do too. That's why you just got to really build it up now because nobody's doing nothing but watching TV at home. The perfect
Yeah.
time.
Absolutely. One of our guys, Eric, he has a question for you. He wants to know what motivates you to fight. What gets you in that mentality to go in the ring and, like you said, not have any remorse and really try and take somebody's head off.
Oh man, just the training, man. Just having to run in the morning, having to go to the track and keep up with little guys, and just that burn, man. Running in the heat, or I used to run in the cold. I used to run in blizzards and stuff, man. And Ross will tell you when I was an amateur, I was driving. Ross will tell you I was driving, an hour and 15 minutes one way to the gym every day for 2 years, you know. So it's like, all that stuff, man. Just like it just built up, you know. So it's just part of it.
So let me put you on the spot a little bit. I want your pound for pound list. Top 5 pound for pound.
Pound for pound, top 5. I'm a little biased with pound for pound because
I get
I
you.
believe
You can take your bias
I believe
list.
all right, because I believe heavyweight should be in a pound for pound because
Absolutely.
they in a one shot kill division.
One shot.
Right. Absolutely.
So I'm saying pound for pound all time or right now.
Right now.
Right now.
All right, right now I'm just gonna go off based off mega fight. So I'm gonna say, oh man, I'm gonna say no order. I'm just gonna say Anthony Joshua. Tyson. I'm saying Anthony Joshua because he beat Klitschko, so he was.
Yeah, no, he did.
Tyson Fury.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta throw Wilder in there because he's one shot kill, man. And then I'm gonna say, man, who else been in hard fights so far? All right, I'll say Teofimo.
Okay, he'll like that.
And I say Teofimo, and I'm gonna go ahead and say
Tank.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, my bad. No, my bad. Y'all tricked me. Terrence Crawford.
Thank you.
Hold on, Cassius.
But it's tricky because I'm biased because I put 3 heavyweights.
I don't care, Cassius. You got a top 5, and I don't hear Canelo's name.
That's true.
I can't. And this is the only reason because I like Canelo. This is the only reason I'm not putting Canelo in there. Cause look, Canelo's fight so far, like he's either been the bigger guy or he's always had the advantage so far. Like the last fight, dude took the fight on like 2 weeks, man. Like,
True.
I can't put
But the Danny Jacobs fight was a good fight though for Canelo.
All right, Danny. Yeah, I give him Danny Jacobs. I give him Triple G. The two Triple G fights were close, man.
Yeah.
But remember, he moved up to fight Triple G.
Huh?
He moved up to fight Triple G when Triple G was the most feared dude in the game.
Where is Errol Spence?
Canelo already big. That's what Errol Spence would be in. Errol Spence is pound for pound 5, but I put 3 heavyweights in there.
Okay.
I'm good now. I'm good now.
Okay, because I've been saying I want to see an Errol Spence and Canelo fight because Errol Spence always been a big welterweight.
You hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. You good?
I can't hear you.
Oh shit. Because Cassius, matter of fact, can you hear us now? Can you hear us now? Because I definitely want to ask you a tough question. Because
I don't think I can't hear you.
Oh damn.
Well, I mean, I had to catch a flight anyway. We could do this again.
You could try to bring him. You could try to log him off and bring him back on and see if we could catch him again.
All right.
Hopefully we can catch him. But I'm gonna go ahead and say this, AJ, while we doing it. There was no Lomax on that list, man.
Nah, nowhere.
That's fine. That's fine.
Can you hear us?
Nah, he good. Hey, Eric, you gonna quit talking about us in these technical difficulties?
That's not us, man.
That's not us. It don't be us.
He's at a gym.
Yeah,
you know they don't have the best internet at the gym. Come on.
There you go.
He trying to come back in. Can you hear us? You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, perfect. Well, I want to ask you a question, and I want to ask you about a fighter, because I think this would be a really good fight for you because it's 2 knockout artists, 2 extremely, large human beings, and I think that you guys both would be able to, put on a good show. I want to see you and F.A. Ajagba, like
that's
2 giant heavy hitters.
Whew.
Like I think that's really one, like that would vault you to that next level because people want to see that. That's something that brings the heavyweight division back. It's not, as much as he did, the Ruiz and Areolas and stuff like that. We don't want to see heavyweights that look like, plumbers. We want to see heavyweights that look like something that, has been sculpted, like the Greek gods and stuff like that. You get what I'm saying? And so that's why we want, I think that's what really needs to bring that heavyweight back, the heavyweight division back, because you see it with Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder, and
Fury now.
And Fury now. But what he was saying with black fighters, a black American champion, like black people love the heavyweight division. That's what we wanted. We wanted to see Tyson. We wanted to see Holyfield. Because we remember Ali, we remember Joe Louis, we remember, Liston. And so I think that's what could really bring American boxing back to, the actual peak. I know the 147 is the glamour division, and Floyd, he brings all the money, and then you got Bud, you got Errol. But we want to see giant human beings that don't, they're not 5'9", 147 pounds that look like us. We want to see something that we're in awe of. And I think, hey man, you need to sign the 3-man weave promotions. We're gonna make that happen for you.
I like that fight. I do. I like that fight. I like that fight for me. I think that he got some things that he do really well. That he probably do more disciplined than me, but I think that I'm much more creative. I'm much more of I'm way more on the fly. Like I'm much more awkward, and I think his style would make me more creative and more awkward than what people may see already. Because some of the guys I fought, I really haven't had the chance to have to be like
in trouble.
really like
And
except
literally, that's
except
the
when I
reason.
fought. Yeah,
Go ahead. Go
what
ahead.
you say?
Go ahead.
Maybe except when I fought John Bowden. That dude came out just throwing fire, man. I was like, man, hold on. That was the only fight I was like, all right. But that fight I needed it because it was like, all right, it's just heavyweight boxing. Like, don't like stay calm, boom, boom, boom. And
Mhm.
to give to F.A. Ajaba's credit, man, like it's not too many I can say for him. He's gotten off the canvas and won. So,
Yeah, I remember that.
you know, yeah, I give him credit for that because there's not too many guys that are able to do that. So I think for that alone would make for a good fight between me and him. It would just have to make sense for both sides, I guess, you know.
Oh, 100%.
So
100%.
would you say to date that Bolden has been your toughest fight?
Um, in that moment, yeah, it was the toughest fight.
Yeah, because that was
It
two
was just
undefeated
like,
fighters.
yeah, I mean, no, he had a few losses, but he only had been stopped by Brian Jennings.
Okay.
You know, but in that moment, it was because I had just like I was like preparing for him, like I was preparing for a Joshua Fury. I was just like doing so much, and I remember the night before the fight, man. Literally, I was like, man, I'm probably gonna get knocked down tomorrow, man. This
Really?
is how I felt. Yeah, I
Man,
was just like, I just felt like just beat up, like you know.
Mhm.
And so the littlest punch that he threw, it knocked me down because it wasn't even no hard punch. He just threw it good, and then so I say, you know, he gonna have to finish me to win. You know what
Mhm.
I'm
right.
saying? And he was like on the verge of quitting. If it wasn't for his coach, I think Zab Drew, the dad, was his coach.
Yeah.
If it's
Yeah.
not for his father pushing him like, yo, go out there and finish the round, he was about to quit. Because if I was feeling pain, I know he was feeling pain.
Putting beats on them. And
Yeah, I
so,
know he was feeling it.
so what's your average like training day look like?
For me, right now, it's like get up at 8. I mean, not including eat. So like 7:30, I try to eat. And then I go at 8. We do conditioning. So that could be like, you know, mobility stuff or a lot of, quick reaction,
Mhm.
or heavy or lifting.
Hmm.
And then from there, we come back to the gym and I'll be ready for training like at 11, like boxing training here. And then at night, we're supposed to just do like some type of cardio. So that could be running, riding a bike, walking, or shadow boxing.
Mhm.
So that'd be 3. And then in between, the hardest part is not really the training so much as eating.
Yeah.
That's where you're gonna, put on your muscle and burn the calories. So eating, trying to keep up with the food and the water intake is the hardest.
Right. So I do want to ask you this because I'm from Cincinnati. So I grew like I'm from I've been around Adrian Bronner, and watched him come up and some other Cincinnati fighters. Do you stay in fighting condition even when you're not in camp?
You know what? I pretty much do because I mean, it's not hard for me because I don't drink or smoke.
Yeah.
So
Oh, where you
it's a
from?
little bit easier for me. Yeah, it's easier for me. It's more so really watching what I eat because if I start eating like certain stuff, it do take me out of it a little bit. Like if I eat pizza or something, man, hey man, it's
Because you're
sit
gonna
on
want
me.
you
So
go and then you're gonna want wings and then
Mhm.
you're gonna want a burger.
exactly, exactly. Then you're gonna be like, hold on, or you be like eating the pizza, you like, oh, I just burned that off. Hold on, I can get a burger tomorrow. Man, it
Facts.
happens to me all the time, man. It happens to me all the
Yeah,
time.
that's my
So
issue.
now, yeah, man. Hey, I feel you, dog. So now I
So
just try to give myself like one day, one day.
right.
One cheat day.
Did you not drink? Did you not drink and watch your eating before you became a boxer, or was that really what made you want to become dedicated because of the hard work that you put in? Once you started training, you didn't want to kind of ruin that, even when you weren't fighting.
No, I always wasn't. I never drink or smoke. I drank one time in college, man. I was like, that's enough for me. As far as like the eating thing, man, like I've always been into that, but
Mhm.
more so now I understand it. Like in college, you don't understand it. You know what I mean? You got the meal card, so you only can get certain stuff. It's like too many rules, so you only can eat what you gonna get. Now I understand it a little bit more, like what worked for me, what don't. all that type of stuff. So it's more of a science now.
Okay.
No, absolutely.
Now, I just want to ask you about a up and coming fighter. Been asking a lot of people about him. What do you think about Devin Haney as a fighter?
Uh, Talented, man. He's good. He's real good. This the only thing I tell people about Devin Haney. Devin Haney, for him to be so young, and he been around boxing for so long, he already boxed. He already boxed like an older Floyd, sort of.
Mm-hmm.
So to many people, it's not exciting. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? It's not as exciting because he mature and he boxed to not get hit.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to take somebody that like Teofimo or
Mm-hmm.
like Gervonta or maybe Ryan Garcia to bring some excitement to his
Mm-hmm.
type of fight. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
But if he fights Javier Fortuna, that's going to be a good fight.
That'll be a
Yeah,
Fortuna
great.
Fortuna put the pressure
is
on.
really, yeah, and he awkward.
Yep.
That's going to
Mm-hmm.
be a good fight. It's going to be interesting. But I think he good, man. It's going to be interesting to see again when all this stuff open up in that division and the heavyweight division. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah. I'm hoping the heavyweight division come back, man. I'm definitely hoping. We hoping to see you in one of those big name fights, man. You can get the FA
Yeah,
fight and then it catapult to, into the big boy status, and we're gonna support you all the way, man.
We got a
thank you,
supporter.
man. I
We got a
appreciate it.
supporter. Supporter Eric said, "What's more satisfying victory, a knockout or a unanimous decision?"
Uh, that's tough, man. It depends how early the knockout is. I mean, sometimes it is like a relief if you get one like in the first round. You like,
Mm-hmm.
oh man, I can. All right, cool. But a unanimous decision, if you go to all rounds, you say you got those rounds under your belt. So
Mm-hmm.
it depends. Like for me, I would like to get 8 rounds under my belt or 10 rounds, to be able to say I've done it. But if it don't happen, and I'm the reason that it don't happen, I win. I don't care.
Right.
So
Because that's one thing I wanted to ask you about. Like, as far as continuing to move up in talent and pushing your levels as a boxer. Do you want to start getting to those later rounds and trying to see where your conditioning is at and stuff like that before you really start to kind of keep going, or you think that when that time comes, whatever happens?
I'll be ready for it because the coaches here, all the coaches here, they're very demanding on that. You know what I mean? That's the hardest part, sparring 10 rounds. I mean, I was sparring 10 rounds, feeling like straight crap.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say that's why I'm saying I would like a durable opponent,
Mm-hmm.
somebody that makes me think a little bit before moving on to that. Just to say I went to 8 or I went to 10 rounds. If it don't, then that ain't on me.
Yeah.
But
Mm,
there are guys out there that make perfect sense. You know what I'm saying? And it's just about putting those fights on. Right now, a lot of the stuff that's going on right now in boxing, man, here is crazy. So we have to see what happens.
all right, I know we gotta let you go soon because you got a flight to catch, but I got one more question for you.
Yeah, yeah.
Bro, you 6'6". How the hell did they find sparring partners for you? Like, they don't just make humans like you. Who do you spar with?
Well, I got the number one Puerto Rican guy here, Carlos Negron.
Mm-hmm.
He's real good. I got another heavyweight, Edwin Alvarez. He's 6-0. Luis Ortiz
Okay.
is 6'4". So I'm around big heavyweights, but they
Mm-hmm.
the
Okay.
hardest ones to like. When I first came here, I had to spar all of them like back to back to back. They would throw me
Yep.
in the fire, and it was
Hmm.
man, it was hard, man. Just the heat alone was hard, but
I can
Oh,
I can only
now
absolutely. I
ima-
can
I can
imagine.
only
so
imagine.
I learned it. Yeah, it was crazy here. It was crazy. So yeah, they got sparring. You can get it.
Absolutely.
After listening to you, I already know to solve all your your next fight um problems.
Mhm.
Go back to your original
Yeah.
promoter, your mother.
Yeah.
Your mom, you said your mom was taking you all around the neighborhood
Yeah,
and you were fighting.
yeah,
She'll handle all these
yeah,
fights. Get your hefe. She'll get your
yeah,
hefe. Bring your moms back
yeah,
and you'll be good.
yeah. Well, yeah, man. Yeah, she was doing it, man. So that's why I always say like when I'm sparring training, I'm way more nervous than I ever am in a fight. Like when I go in the ring, I don't even think about it. I'm like, I've been doing this since I was little. You know what I'm saying?
No.
So
Yeah, I feel you. I
yeah,
feel you.
yeah. It's no issues. But when you sparring and then you sparring, you don't know when it's going to end. It's up to the coach.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's up
I
to
respect that.
the coach. He may ask you, "Oh, well, how you feeling?" He don't really care. He just wants you to keep going. You know,
Yeah.
so that's the hard part. Sparring is like the hardest thing. So yeah, it's part of the game though.
I understand, man, but we understand you gotta catch a flight, so we're gonna go ahead and let you go. Make sure you don't miss that flight. We don't want you to blame that on us. And once again, man, we thank you for joining us at the Three Man Weave podcast. You're welcome back anytime, and we definitely
Anytime.
gonna
Thank you,
we
fellas.
definitely keeping our eyes on you. Let the people know where they can find you at.
You can just find me Cassius Chaney on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook.
All right, man. We thank you again, and we definitely going. Like I said, we
Thank you,
watching
fellas.
you. We looking forward to that next fight, man. Thanks for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. Cassius Chaney.
Thank you, fellas.
Thank you.
Doing things you can't believe. It's the 3-Man Weave. We come at you with topics. No, you cannot stop it.